with what is happening with the UPND. When a chief executive officer like Batuke Imenda can call our bishop, our shepherd, a Lucifer, it doesn't augur well to me as a Catholic. And it has never happened. Others could have done it, but not the way the UPND is doing. In my time, it's the first time I'm alive witnessing a church being locked up. The challenge of, and them they think, if they insult one bishop, I saw, and I was laughing, when Cornelius Mwitwa, my young brother, went to our Bishop Msipu in Chipata to go and apologize. In our language, when he said those words to our bishop in Chipata, those words went to all our bishops because they are our bishops. What he could have done was just to publicly apologize to all of them. But up to today, people like Honorable Batuke Imenda has never apologized.
One would argue to say, listen, the Catholic Church have been known to butt heads with the powers that be, even in the past, where, even in the PF times, where not to that extreme of the example you're giving with Mr. Batuke Imenda calling one of the bishops the Lucifer of Zambia. But there's been some sort of friction back and forth here and there. Isn't this normal with the Catholic Church because of what the church stands for and how they speak out for the vulnerable in the community?
It is very normal in the Catholic Church. And me who understands the doctrine of our church, if you remember very well, Bishop Tresford Mpundu, when he was speaking against the Patriotic Front government, he categorically attacked me publicly and the Honorable Kampiongo. Did you hear me or Honorable Kampiongo call the Bishop Mpundu names? In fact, when that happened, one of you, as journalists, one of the radio stations invited me, and they asked me what I thought of Tresford Mpundu. And I answered, that's my bishop. I can't respond to whatever he says. Me, I understand my doctrine. Others, like Batuke Imenda, he doesn't understand. That's why he can feel comfortable and he can sleep up to today with no remorse at all. But if he's a Christian, he should know that you never attack an anointed man. Then you are bringing a case on yourself. So the Catholic Church, in short, they have always talked for the people because they deal with a lot of people. As a church, we have hospitals. Here in Lusaka, how many hospices do we have? There are many. Like in Munadi, where I was, we have Mother Teresa, it's under the Catholic. We have the Kalinga Hospice, it's under the Catholic. They are looking after people, some of them who don't even have, who are terminally ill. Some families are even tired of them. They are looking after children who have been thrown away. Are those the people you can call Lucifers? The judgment is to those who are doing that to search their conscience. Those who are going to a church and locking up.
It was one individual that was called that.
Yes, it is
one individual. And just to put it on record that
it was one individual.
And we've seen that other Catholic bishops have mingled with the UPND government, met the president, they've had these meetings. It looks like there's some bishops in the Catholic Church that might have differences with the current government, but some of them are still interacting with them. So it wouldn't be right to say all of them.
It's not all of them. Did you hear what I said? I said Mutuka Mfumu Tatuka Umo. That's what I said. So if they are mingling, yes, being a church they are. But the truth of the matter is all of them are affected. There are priests who have complained about that. You know, when you insult one, and for me, I was also a deputy chief executive of a political party. I know what I'm talking about. If I made a mistake of which was affecting the party, the president could have reprimanded me. And I expected President Hakainde Hichilema, if he didn't agree with the person he appointed to call a bishop by Lucifer, he could have reprimanded him. The best, since he has refused to apologize, he could have shown him the door. It's him who appointed him. So the way it is now, it shows that it represents the position of the entire UPND. You can't deny that. I was in that position.
Is that right to say that?
Yes.
Is that right
According
to say that?
To me, yes, it's right.
But you've seen the president, mingle with the bishops. You've seen some ministers mingle with his bishops.
Unfortunately, our president is a pretender. You saw what happened when we had mass, when we lost the bishop. They want to take every opportunity to twist things the way they want them to be.
Shouldn't we hold you accountable to your own word, Madam Mumbi Phiri?
Which one word?
If you said something today that you believed in or represented, would it be right if we made a blank
question?
Let me finish. Would it be right if we say, if you said something today against another dominion, let's say a church, would it be right if we used that statement as a blanket statement for everybody else that is a member of the PF or associated to you?
It would. Why? Especially if I'm in a position of a chief executive officer, and if they don't agree, everybody, and I don't apologize, the one who appointed me has a right out of dignity to chase me, because then that person is misrepresenting that organization. But since that hasn't happened, it clearly shows that they agree. And can you see, when we look at our current administration, they want to take every opportunity when they're doing the opposite to create another story. They lied. When they went to the mass for the late bishop, they lied that the bishop praised Hakainde Hichilema. It had to take the Catholic again to rebut that. What's their aim? Even when they go there, are they going there genuinely, or they are trying to create an impression? Look at their behavior. Let me take an example of the late Roger Chongwe. They took body of Edith Nawakwi to a church where she didn't belong. And President Hakainde Hichilema was present. To me, I've taken that as playing to the gallery. We lost Roger Chongwe, a very senior person. The funeral was at the cathedral. If it wasn't going to show, because I think our president, I don't know what is with him. Why didn't he go to Roger Chongwe's funeral? Because there were no qualms, nobody had an argument the way it was with Edith Nawakwi. Why? Did you want to create a friction? And I've asked, Edith Nawakwi was a Catholic, Bachkwanda was a Catholic. Why didn't they take Bachkwanda's funeral to the cathedral by force? Is it because Honorable Chkwanda had children, big children, who stood up and did the right thing? And I've been telling my fellow Catholics who are in this government, the very disappointing thing is Patrick Kangwa, who is our Eucharistic minister, who cannot guide the president properly, because they denied, I feel so bad, they denied Edith Nawakwi Requiem Mass, which is very, very important in our faith. The other day I was talking to my sister Doreen Mwamba, and I told her, you have set a precedence. You, when you die, your women's league, you will go to, your body will be taken to the cathedral, because Cathedral of the Holy Cross, because the precedence has been set. And she said it can't happen. And I told her it will happen because a precedence has been set. You are not following our doctorate. You people, you should guide the president. Some of these things, you are making him look bad.
How do you think the church can continue to positively impact Zambian society?
The church should continue speaking the way they have always spoken. They shouldn't fear who is in the office, whether it's Catholic. If I'm not doing a right thing, I should be told in my face. And if you are intelligent enough, if the church is speaking to you, you should listen, because they mingle with a lot of people. You should listen and at least be practical and do what they're asking you. Don't listen by giving them placards to start worshiping you. Are you God? Because church, We are a body of Christ. You should listen if the church is speaking to you, in short.
You think the current government is not listening to when the church speaks?
They're not. According to me, they are not.
What makes you say that, Madam Mumbi Phiri?
They are not. That's why they're fighting the church. We saw.
You can say fighting the church, but there have been individuals that have been singled out to say, we have a problem, and government has had this stance before through their spokesperson, who have said we've had problems with individuals and not the church in its entirety.
Maybe because they don't understand me. I'm speaking like this because I understand my doctorate. I'm a Catholic, baptized, confirmed. I'm in a lay group. I understand. Those are not Catholics. It's unfortunate. I heard of one member of parliament for Kalomo who went and castigated our bishop and agreed, as you are saying. And I was wondering, when is he in Lusaka at parliament? Is he telling me he doesn't attend church? Because when you attend church, we even have a part where we pray for our bishop. Does he do that? Because we mention them by name. So those others who are non-Catholics, I forgive them because they don't understand our doctorate. I will not agree, no matter what you can say. If you insult one bishop, you have insulted all of them. And you need to ask for an apology.
Madam Mumbi Phiri, what are expectations from the new Pope in terms of addressing global issues such as, poverty and inequality?
First, I would like to congratulate our church, who has brought in another new Pope, Pope Leo XIV, and we'll continue praying for him because he has just started the first Sunday we were celebrating having a new Pope was last Sunday when we were celebrating Mobusa Wabuidu, a good shepherd. And my hope and prayer is that we'll have in Pope Leo XIV a good shepherd who is going to take over from where Pope Francis left. And I've no doubt the grace of the Lord and our prayers are going to help him to forge ahead. And I'm praying as a Catholic that God will give me an opportunity again to meet him physically, because I was blessed before. I met St. Pope Francis Paul when he came to Zambia. When President Edgar Lungu went to Italy, I met the late Pope Francis. And this one, I'm praying that again, I'll meet him in my lifetime.
Interesting. What progress do you think has been made? I want to move away from issues to do with the Catholic Church. I think we've exhausted that. And also, I would like to find out from you, what do you think has been, what progress do you think has been made in Zambia's fight against HIV and AIDS? And what challenges still remain?
You have touched on the burning issue in our country today. And I'm very conversant with the process of the HIV and AIDS. Because that's how Michael Sata and Guy Scott identified this woman through the church in Munadi constituency. I was there at the peak of this HIV and AIDS when people were dying. And it so happened that my husband bought me a van. I was amongst those few people started driving to Tumakadda when they just came in. And people would get surprised, this young lady driving a big car. And when people could die in their homes, I could be called even in the night to go and pick up the bodies, take them to the mortuary. When people died at Mother Teresa, I would be called to go and pick up the bodies, take them to the mortuary. When people died at Karingaringa Hospice, I would pick the body and take them to the mortuary. It makes me so sad that after the presidential announcement of Donald Trump, and they are revealing their stance by June to withdraw aid to Africa. That was the first one. I was taken aback. Now to get what has happened, when I was listening to the ambassador of the United States to Zambia, speaking on the American soil, where I was speaking from, that's their soil, we gave them. That's America. Telling us that we have systematic thieves stealing drugs paid for by the American taxpayers to help the vulnerable in Zambia. You steal. Pizzy, you look at me. I stayed in prison for 1 year, 1 month, 5 days, 429.25 days. Most people tell me that I've come out of prison looking fresh. Why? Because before, if you went to prison, you came out infected with TB. When I was in Mongo, I was given free TB drugs donated by the American government. These drugs is still working in me. It will finish after 3 years. Now, the Americans have told us...
Did you contract TB whilst in prison, or was it a preventive measure?
It was a preventive measure. Those who are listening to me, because in prisons now, they are on radio. Some of them are listening to me. With the congestion which you have there, how many are going to survive from TB? You have all sorts of people. Please, if you go to prison, you will not see our brothers and sisters, even those who are infected with HIV and AIDS, looking sick. They look so healthy because they adhere to the administering of the antiretroviral drugs which they are getting for free. Now we have been told they are stopping to give us those drugs come January. What is going to happen to our brothers and sisters in prisons? How many? Because from my research, I found out that to buy antiretroviral drugs, you need almost 4,000. How many of those prisoners can afford 4,000?
What do you mean 4,000 kwacha? What's the quantity?
For you to have it throughout the month. 1 month, you need 3,900 plus. That's why I've rounded it up to 4,000.
And where's the source of that? Because the last check we did as of Monday, a bottle of ARVs at a private pharmacy will cost you between 500 kwacha to 650 for 30 tablets. Where are you getting the 3,700 kwacha from, Madam?
Maybe the person who gave me, because I'm not a medical personnel, the person who gave me maybe gave me a wrong figure. Okay, let us go by yours. 500.
500 kwacha, between 500 and 650 kwacha for a bottle of 30 tablets. That's for 1 month.
Okay, let's even put it at 400 for argument's sake. Is it 40 kwacha or 400? 400. How many of those people in prison can afford for 400? I lived amongst them. I know the challenges which are there. You know, I even feel sorry for the prison officers, because sometimes if you are sick, there is no Panadol, they are forced to use their own money from the pockets to buy medication for those prisoners. Me, when I was there, I told my children they were sending medicines to help at the pharmacy at Mongo Clinic. I could even get tablets like those charcoal which you use in case some of them drink medicine to kill themselves. You have to save them. I know what I'm talking about. Up to today, I'm still dealing with the prisoners. How many can buy those drugs? Let me say, you're in under 400 mu prison. They are saying they have employed nurses, doctors, clinical officers. Do you know that they are at risk? They are at risk. How? Because when you take antiretroviral drugs, I'm conversant with this because when the administering of antiretroviral drugs started with children, Munari constituency, when I was an MP, was used in a pilot project. That's where they started. If you remember very well, some of you journalists interviewed me at Creso, there near Movie TV. I'm a mother of 7. I took 4 of my children who were adolescents to be tested for HIV and myself. I did that to encourage parents to bring their children My results and my children's results at that time were announced. If you go to Creso, the records are there. People started bringing their children. Those who were found positive, they started getting medication as children. As we are speaking, there are some children who are children then who are between 30 to 40 years, who are still living on drugs. They were born HIV positive.
But this thing, like the ambassador alluded to, it's been going on for a long time in the country. Okay, what are the solutions, Madam Mumbi Phiri?
It has been going on.
Let me bring it back to when you were in power. Why wasn't this plugged? Why wasn't it sorted out? What are the solutions now?
It was there, but it wasn't to this extent. PZ, you should know that for the first time in the history of Zambia, we have two nations who have withdrawn aid to Zambia. Umulandu wabu wabu kabolala. The first ones to do that was the Swedish. Now it's the American. Let me finish the thought of what I was saying. I want you to understand the effect of this. Those children now who started getting drugs when they were young, they're in their 30s, 40s. It's a risk even to the health workers. Do you know what happens when you're taking antiretroviral drugs? Your viral load is suppressed. That's why now we have children who are being born HIV free from HIV positive parents. If you go to the hospital, you are HIV positive, you have to deliver normally. Your canal is cleaned using a drug called noveropin, so that as you give birth, the virus is not transmitted to your child. That is going to end. If you are a health worker, accidentally, if you get in contact with somebody, maybe blood fluid or whatever, you prick yourself, you are put on PrEP so that you prevent yourself from getting infected. All this thing is going to go. What's going to happen to the health workers? My question to the health workers, especially to those of you who are big educated, not using bursaries, which is a loan to government. Your parents to educate a doctor.
Madam Mumbi Phiri, but why you? I also want to find out from you, as you're saying all these things, why are you painting a picture like if the American people don't buy us these drugs, we can't afford to buy them?
How can we afford? When Trump said he was going to stop funding us, did you see any plan from government? They're supposed to come to this radio station. They speak to us. If they are,
we did hear from the president, though. We did hear from the president who said we need to start buying on drugs.
Why can't
we need to start buying on ARVs after that announcement was made?
That announcement, when it was made, have we seen anything?